Hey y'all, welcome to Keep Going Live. It's been a hot minute as I was searching for my next guest and been a little busy. Book, broadcast, teaching elementary school. Kind of crazy, but this and you are important to me. It's about living your best life, embracing your passion, doing what makes you happy. You know what makes me happy? Music. And when we had Carl Bernard of Flashpoint Band on, I was inundated with, hey, when you gonna have some more musicians? You asked, I answered. Tonight we have Jeff Edwards of the Jeff Edwards Band. He was at Mac's Speed Shop on what day was it? What day is it today? On Friday. And the show was amazing. He did try to steal my motorcycle. I did not let him. But he has agreed to be on the show tonight. And I'm really excited to announce him, to introduce him, especially since when he was a musician in high school, he dropped out of the band due to stage fright. You can keep going and figure out how to do what makes you happy. Here's Jeff. He's going to tell us how he has.
Hi.
Hey, Jeff, you didn't know I was going to say that when you just mentioned it a minute ago in the pre-show check, huh?
No, but you did say to be ready for anything, so.
Oh, well, I ask what's off limit, you know. Tell us, how did you get over stage fright to doing not just a show with a band, recording albums, doing videos, and having all kinds of stuff online, but live acoustic all by your little lonesome?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of a long story. It was a journey. I always loved music. I loved playing instruments. So as a kid, I went through violin and piano. And I finally ended up in middle school band playing the flute. Um, and all the little nerdy band kids are like, it's a girl's instrument, but I didn't care about that. I like to play. But I did not like being on stage. I
Yeah.
didn't like being the center of attention. I didn't like the spotlight. I didn't like the performances. So when I got to high school bands, I basically dropped out and I didn't do any music for a while.
Did you not mean all together or just publicly? Were you still like playing in the basement or did you bow out entirely?
I was playing the flute a little here and there, but that was my main instrument at that point. But there was kind of a disconnect between the music I really liked to listen to, which was, classic rock, singer songwriter stuff, grunge, alternative. I loved 90s alternative. I had like one or two rock bands that had flute in them.
Sorry. I'm trying to mentally wrap my head around grunge flute. I
Yeah,
see what you mean
exactly.
about the disconnect.
But I mean, that's what that was one of the things that happened though, is I was like the instrument I'm on and the music I love, like
Yeah.
and my flute teacher was like, well, you should play some Chicago, man. And Chicago is a killer band, and Jethro Tull was too, but it just wasn't enough to keep going with.
Real.
But I had a friend who played acoustic guitar, and he could sit on his porch and strum, and he could play a lot of the Radiohead tunes that way, and I thought it was super cool. So for my 19th birthday, I asked my mom, "Hey, can you buy me that garage sale guitar that your friend is selling?" And she did, and I just have never ever been able to put it down since.
So you didn't learn guitar, which is not easy, according to my son. I don't know. I don't play strings. I was a woodwind nerd. Um, you didn't learn till you were 19 and you're that talented on it?
Yeah, and I was at college studying computer science. I had a minor in psychology. I had no music classes, hardly at all. Um, and
Todd.
people were like, "You're a guitar major, right?" And I'm like, "No, I just really like to play." So people kept asking me, and eventually I got over some of my performance fright, and I would play rhythm guitar for the campus ministries, a few of them, InterVarsity Christian Fellowship and Chi Alpha. Um, and they were like, "Man, you're real good. You should play more." So that's kind of how I got into being in front of people, was like these small campus ministries, 10, 20 people in a room. And you've
Yeah,
got,
I was on the board of UCF, United Christian Fellowship, when I was in college. That's hilarious.
yeah,
Little tiny gatherings with all different sorts of people and just a mixed bag of audience, and you just getting your feet wet. Yeah.
yeah. And I was not the guy. I was the guitar player, the rhythm guy, the side man, if you will, because I didn't know how to. I didn't know how to sing. I mean, it was
When
already
did you
hard.
start singing? You sing awesome in your original songs. Oh, yeah. Guys, go here if you want to see the 2 original music videos, which are amazing, made in studio. Jeff's gotten some grants at the Chapman Cultural Arts Center to press vinyl and do music videos, and they are fantastic. But how did you go from, no, they really are. They really are. One of them's like military themed, and another's about a beautiful shipwreck and online dating. And how did you get to that from I'm the side guy and I don't like to sing and I don't know how? I don't get
I mean, I was the side guy for many years. I actually played all kinds of church gigs. At that time in the church community I was at, it was a little bit of a novelty to have an electric guitar player. So I was doing that for a long time. And I guess I just got to where I wanted to play out a lot more and I wanted to write music. And I was having a really hard time finding a band that would stay together, that wanted to write music. So
right.
the acoustic thing has always been one of the best parts of the Carolinas, in my opinion. They like real music. They like jamming. They like sitting around. They like bluegrass. So I guess after many years, I thought, well, I'll give this a shot. I'll try writing not just the riffs, but the whole song and sing it, And when it started, people were like, "Yeah, your voice, you have a voice." you know.
You
Uh,
were playing like some really good classic rock and then came out with your own originals the other night. And I think the crowd really liked it.
yeah, we had a good time, didn't we? They,
Outdoors, really good food. The stage is really nice. I mean, yeah,
I think the acoustic experience, like when I started singing and songwriting, so many of the gigs were just solo that it really helped me train my voice because there's no padding, there's no cushion, there's no
it's you.
hiding it really. If you suck, you suck. Right. You can't hide behind anything. So I hated myself for several years and I was just too stubborn or stupid to quit.
I told you how horrible it was for me to go from being a print journalist to doing all this online stuff and social media junk. It's people don't realize, and I didn't realize you had any issues. You look like a natural to me.
Yep. Well, it's like,
Fun.
I think at some point around 2015-ish, I just got to the point where I was like, I really like this. I want to write music. I want to perform. I'm going to have to get through the sucky part, but I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it, and it was like, that part was like all the other artists around, you do some open mics, you do free gigs, you pay your dues, you open for people, you join in on other shows and you work on it. It's
the whole thing about keep going is persevere and get through the suck. On the
Yeah,
other side of the suck and the fear, you might find something you really love, and there's freedom in that. And you
absolutely.
did it.
Yeah, and it's been very good for me. I mean, can I say spiritually? Because in
Yeah.
some aspects,
I don't know if you saw this the other night, but that's my church seal right there. Whenever I get really freaked out, I look at my arm and I go, God's got a plan. God's got a plan. I don't
oh
know what it is, but damn.
yeah. Well,
Spiritually.
and so there's a long story with me and spiritual things in the church that maybe we should get into later. But on this
Yeah.
point, it's just I just made up my mind to do it, and first few months it was me practicing the singing part with myself, accompanying myself, and doing that for months, and then it was doing small gigs, getting out there, playing for free, playing for cheap.
Now, when you say accompanying yourself, when my son writes music, he does 8 or 9 or 10 different lines with different instruments and does his own backup vocals, and he'll record a line at a time and put it together and see how it all sounds. Do you do that or something like that?
In the studio, I do.
Well, I know you can't do it when you're
Yeah.
on stage.
Although that is a good topic too. It is, you saw me do the live looping. When I
Right?
do
He's
solo
got a loop.
shows, I use a looper to play
Right?
the rhythm part, and that's kind of a whole art in and of itself.
Yeah.
I decided mostly with that, I'm not really as advanced looping as some of the other artists that can put together all these parts.
Well, how many pedals do you have? It looks small.
On my boards, so like the one you saw me play Friday, my solo board, I guess it's a looper and 3 effects, maybe 4. I don't have it in
Because he
front of me.
has so many freaking pedals for all this stuff he needs and a wah wah. And every time I think he's done, there's something else he needs. We had to get him a giant board with a Velcro bottom so he can put the ones he's using on it. And oh my gosh, it
There's
does
an
get
easy way to get rid of that. Make him carry that himself to every show, and pretty soon the board will shrink, I promise you, because
He's got stage fright now. He won't play on shows. He won't even barely play any music for anybody. I don't know how his professors, and he is a music major after wanting to be an engineer for years. I don't know how his professors are getting him to play.
I guess you
But
just have to,
hey, well, and you said you just started playing guitar when you were 19. He's only 19. Who knows? He
Yeah.
might have to go through some suck of his own. He's been through enough of it personally. Maybe there's musicians suck he has to wade through.
Oh, there is a lot of musicians suck you have to wade through. I promise. And pretty much every musician on your show is gonna say the same thing, because I mean it really is. It's a calling, it's not just a job. It's not something where you're like, oh man, they're paying $15 an hour, I better be a musician, like
Well, you have
really gotta love it.
a day job too. You're a techie
Yes.
and a programmer.
Yes,
Do you
that's right.
code?
I do. I am a programmer with the Environmental Protection Agency is my main hustle.
So you try to save the earth and then you go and
Save
put a soundtrack
people's
to it.
souls with music. I guess
Yeah.
I don't know. I
So
guess
it's
I
not
like
job. How often
I'm sorry, what?
not your day job? How often do you play? You know what? If y'all go here again, just to point out the band's website, you can see the shows and where Jeff and you have 2 other guys in the band, right?
Yep, we are a power
How
trio.
often do you play?
I mean, usually 3 or 4 times a month. It goes up in the summer, it goes down a little bit in the winter. There's seasonal trends, but generally it works out to 3 or 4 times a month.
And with rehearsals or when you get together to play or figure out your sets and stuff, I mean, that's probably a lot.
Rehearsals, that's what shows are for.
Rehearsal, smirshal. Who needs it?
No, I've got 2 really solid, good musicians working with me. Doug Mainhout on drums, Michael Tucker on bass. We do get together and rehearse, but we've played most of the material enough times that, you know, I'm not going to say we never rehearse, but plus for our live sound, a lot of it really is improvisational anyways, because I don't like playing the same show twice. I like to give people something unique every time. And they're into it. They came from a much longer winded jam band called Strange Among Us. So they're used to like Grateful Dead tunes and jamming out 10 or 20 minutes. And I'm kind of like the light version of that. My ADHD kicks in after 6 minutes or so, but
squirrel.
Those guys can jam, so we make it work, live set that way.
So you've got the day job, the band, recording. You said when we were getting ready for the show tonight, you want to start doing some Sunday, like just make Sunday your big recording day and work on new music and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, in this newfangled day and age of the internet, everybody wants the podcast, right? They want live video and stuff. Well, that's really hard to do during the working season because we got shows to play. But, it does slow down a lot in the winter. So I'm considering whether it's time to bite the bullet and set up a spot in my house and just do regular online concerts for the winter till the live shows pick up. And,
there's some guys on TikTok that are doing that are amazing. And there's even some DJs that like spin tunes on TikTok as a live show. Crazy?
I mean, sounds like it's worth a shot to me. I mean, like,
hey, what do you got to lose? So you said we could also talk about your other full-time job. You're doing all this and raising 2 kids.
Yes.
You're Mr. Mom. And they're both teenagers?
Yep, they are 13 and 16. 2 lovely ladies.
2 girls. And I met that was your younger daughter who jumped in because she didn't believe I was real. She thought I might be AI or something.
Well, you never can tell these days. We might be AI. We might not know it.
Yeah, except I'd have like an extra nose or... Have you seen some of the pictures they've come up with? There's this funky one of a biker chick, and there's like 4 handlebars like unicorns. It's crazy.
I don't believe I've seen that. No.
Oh, there's some crazy fake photos out there. But she plays violin too. So have you passed on the music, Jean?
It seems that I have with one of them at least. She likes the violin. Both of them really like to sing. I did not seem to pass on the stage fright because they love being in theater and stuff.
Do they come watch you do shows?
Yeah, they do sometimes. I mean, it depends a little on what the show is because, some of the places I play really are dive bars and, they can wait till they're much older for that. But, like bar and grill, festivals.
Yeah. I used to take my kid to biker bars when he could eat on the patio or whatever. He grew up doing that for a while.
It depends on the place, right? Max is a good place for everybody. No issue.
Yeah, I would go there. So when's your next show? And is it another acoustic or do you have the whole trio?
So next show is Friday. It'll
really
just be me, but I am in a music series called Music at the Fountain at Stonecrest at Piper's Glen. I know it's a really long name, but I've been doing that festival for years.
Where?
It's it's a shopping center in Charlotte, and they have a really cool music series they've been doing for years and years, and I've been a part of it. I think this is my 5th year. So it's pretty fun to me. A couple hundred people in a patio in front of a Chipotle. And I love Chipotle, so that's probably why I've been doing it so long. Ulterior motive.
Well, I will not be in Charlotte Friday. My dad is going to get my son and bring him home. I haven't seen him for a month.
And
That
that
Winthrop.
sounds like a good excuse, but son, Jeff Edwards band show. Are you sure you're
Well,
priorities are?
If it was Sunday, I would bring him with me because I'll be taking him back. And actually, I was planning to go after I teach school all day and get him Friday evening. Then we could have shown up.
See,
Yeah,
you
I'm
just
looking
got to
forward to
examine your
having.
parameters. Like what's important.
He used to love to go to live shows and sit on the lawn and play. He got pulled on stage with Cialis once and played his live music, and they just riffed behind him, like said, "Take the mic, go for it." It was amazing, and he didn't have stage fright then. I
Probably
think
was
it depends if you get in the moment. Do you just have to get in the zone, Jeff?
for me. Yeah, a lot of it is that. So I've told friends before. I recommend you do them. Okay, this is just me talking, but I don't like open mics for the reason that when I do an open mic, it's like all the stage fright. And by the time the stage fright ends, you've done your 2 songs.
That's
Because,
over.
because like a typical show I do is 3 hours of music. So you stage fright first 10 minutes, you get your focus on, you're listening to your mix and your voice and your guitar and you're reading the crowd and you get that intense concentration thing going on and stage fright goes away. Well, if I do open mic circuit or something, it's like 3 songs. I finally get to where that's starting to fade away and then you go sit down.
Yeah,
So
there's I think it's a baseball movie, and the guy is like throwing up because he's having like a moment before going on stage, and he's a relief pitcher, and there's 3 pitches that he's got to make, and they're like, "Are you okay? I'll be fine in like 5 minutes." Like, it's gonna be over, dude.
yeah.
I get it.
And it'd
We're
be like that sometimes, I like the jitters take a couple songs to go away for me, and then it's getting into the music and listening. It's a real intense focus. It's like a zen kind of thing.
Well, by the time I got there on my motorcycle that you threatened to steal the other night, I was there 10 minutes into your set and you were fine.
Well, actually, if you recall correctly,
I know you didn't threaten
you
it. That was somebody else with a different bike way back. Well,
you said, "I bet you can't play. Maybe if you can play, I'll give you this bike." That's the way I remember it.
did I say that? I don't know.
Did you? I remember it that way, so it must be true.
You did play, so do I owe you a motorcycle? You wouldn't be the first man that thinks so.
But I've got the best claim to it.
No, that one's mine. I just made the payment today. It's really mine. I haven't wiped the bugs off it from Friday yet.
Oh, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it when it's in my garage.
No problem. So, do you have a garage studio? I mean, you said you were going to set something up maybe to play. Where do you record at home, or do you go somewhere that Chapman set you up with, or where do you lay down these cool tracks?
So we're super indie the way we do it. I record it right in my same office that I do my day job in because most of the instruments, the bass, electric guitar, even the acoustic guitar now, you can do direct in to a computer. You don't need an acoustic room for it. So they have portable vocal booths, setups for singing vocals into. So that takes care of that part. So the hardest thing is when we set up 8 mics and we got to get the live drum track, which we tend to do in someone's living room with real ghetto setup with like blankets on the windows and throw some foam here and there to try and get it a little more dead. That's generally the hard part, but Doug is an amazing drummer, and if I give him enough notice, he comes prepared and he can nail his takes. So generally we have a few days a year that are record Doug's drum days, and it's usually we got to take the time to set up the drums, set up the mics, run through 3 or 4 songs, record a few takes. generally that happens a few times a year, and we'll just do it, and then then we'll pack it all up, have some beer, have fun, eat a pizza or something. I don't know.
Whatever. So Thomas Wyatt, he was gonna go to Greenville Tech to do a year and take care of the core courses for free. He couldn't do that; it was too cheap. But I had purchased him a Chromebook because that's what they suggested for staying in touch with your professors and doing your courses and blah blah. Music composition at Winthrop. He had to have a $2,000 Mac Daddy, like what is it called? It's a Apple. It's a MacBook Pro.
Mm-hmm.
And all the software they required that his professors wanted and everything it was over $2,000, man. But you could immediately tell the difference. Like you said, you can do a whole bunch on a computer. It was way better than the desktop he had been using, and the Chromebook too.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you can do and mix and write and transpose, all of it on a computer.
Yeah. And so the computer nerd part of me, the day job guy, I know all that's really cool, and I've really enjoyed getting those capabilities at home. But the old school part of me is like, this is why you got to get out and play live, because people need something real, something personal to just them. A lot of times I've got a MacBook Pro, I've got Logic, I've got GarageBand, and
all that.
10 years ago I started noticing commercials sounding like stuff I had on my hard drive. You know what I mean? I'm like, I know that loop, that's from Logic. I know that loop, that's from GarageBand, but they changed the key,
There's no new music, and it's all the same 3 notes, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I think it takes talent to put that kind of music together, so I don't diss it, but it's not the same as providing an experience for someone.
Well, and you also said you really were excited to have a vinyl record made with one of the grants you got from Chapman Cultural Arts.
Yes.
And you had your record at the show the other night, and you gave me one, and it's great.
I did. And that was such a cool project because we had most of the music recorded, but vinyl is such a different format that streaming that I really did have to rethink things. Like I never would have, I hadn't had to think of in years. Like, hey, I only can fit 4 songs on a side. Like, what's an album side? Who the hell has ever heard of that?
Yeah, you do it on the computer. And you did the cover art yourself. It's the Elephant Transcendent.
I did. And the reason it's the Elephant, the streaming album is the Elephant Ascendant. So when we vinylized it, it's a little different because I had to fit it on the vinyl. We called it the Elephant Transcendent.
And then you've got 3 other albums that are all stereo, not vinyl. It's the only like hard copy vinyl album you have, and it's a good.
That's right. When I started eons ago, I had like compact discs. They're these like small round things.
Yes, I've got them right here.
And
dude.
That was like the end of an era. Actually, I think I might have some laying around in here on my shelves. But I tried to market my music with it, and I tried to impress girls, and it didn't work because they're like, compact, what? Is that like? I'm like, like a laser disc, but smaller. Compact, what?
You've got 2 girls right there at home, I bet are impressed, or probably not because you're their dad, right? I can't impress my kids.
Well, they grew up with this, so they're like used to it. They're like, your dad's not a rock star too? Like
a rock star dad.
No, my dad's an accountant. And they're like, oh, so when does he play in his band? Well, he doesn't. My dad's an accountant, not a computer nerd / songwriter,
No, somebody else's. Hey, it's been really good talking to you tonight. It was fun the other night too. I had come from the hospital after elementary school. It was quite the day for me, but I really enjoyed it. I kept texting my sister, yeah, I'm leaving right now. And then going, oh, there's traffic. And then you'd play a song and I'd be like, oh, this is fun. It really was. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I had a great time playing for you too.
Trying to, just for me.
Just for you. You alone.
To balance life though and do things like work all day, do what you love at night, promoting yourself and your business and your band. I mean, it's a lot. And this show is to some extent about finding balance and living your best life and making it all work together. How do you do that? It
I'm
sounds like you're
very
doing
tired a
fine.
lot of times. I can't say that I'm the best at it. Um, especially if you ask me this week, because I mean, you saw my show Friday, and then we had to drive to Georgia the next day to play, and then I got a day to kind of crash, and now I'm back in the grind with the 9 to 5. Sometimes I overextend myself, but I also
You do.
get to do in my free time what my passion is, as a hobby, as a passion. I have fun.
Oh, you're not totally free though. You're doing okay. Call
Yeah,
it, what do you call it? A side hustle, but it's the one you're really passionate about, right?
yeah, it is. And, and I can pour some of those funds back into it and make vinyl albums and do cool stuff like that.
Or
Uh,
you could write another grant.
I think I have to see if that grant program is still around. The Chapman Cultural Center, it used to be you could apply every 2 years. So I
Right.
am due, and I have some ideas what would make a good grant, but I need
Something
to.
that
That's in the fall. You're ahead of me a month or two, so you gotta slow down, girl. Slow down.
when I don't ever, I've had 2 phone calls I got to return when we get off this show,
Uh,
which is right about now. Unless, can I really put you on the spot? You want to croon us out of here?
do I want to what?
Croon us out. You want to sing a little something? I did have a singer, Spiderweb, who promotes and has been involved with the Myrtle Beach rally. He sang one of his original songs on the show not too long ago. I think May.
Oh, well, I'd
No,
like to, but I don't actually have my
there's
acoustic
nothing
guitar.
around. Listen, y'all, Google Jeff Edwards because there's so many formats. Or again, go to this. You can hear a lot of his music. You can get the album. You can watch the music videos. You'll be glad you did.
Yeah, definitely.
So thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it. You have a
Thanks
good
for
night.
having me. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
You too.
Hey, that was Jeff Edwards of the Jeff Edwards Band. His story about becoming a musician, little different path, call it unique. We all are. And so are our stories. Yours matters. You matter. You're beautiful. Live your best life. Figure it out. Just don't give up. Keep going. Have a great night.